After developing sufficient skill in performing the forward approach and backward press with jumps from the 1 and 3 meter springboards, the tuck dives in all 4 directions of rotation are to be practiced diligently. To perform these dives well requires excellent balance, angle of takeoff, and body control. The tuck dives are actually more difficult to execute properly than the pike and straight positions. The forward dive tuck is executed by landing on the board from the hurdle with the balance over the balls of the feet. The diver moves through the preliminary takeoff position and extends to a straight line from the toes to fingertips, with the arms shoulder-width apart and the body at an angle a few degrees forward. The eyes are focused on the far side of the pool to ensure the head is level. This position allows the board to push the diver out to good distance and initiate rotation due to the lean. When the feet leave the board, the tuck position is assumed by bringing the arms directly down to the shins while drawing the legs into the body. The visual focus shifts to the entry point as this occurs. The tuck should be completed just prior to reaching the peak of the dive. At the top of the dive, the body begins its gradual opening by extending to a straight line as the arms are straightened and moved laterally in line with the body to the overhead entry position. Watch this dive again in slow motion to get an overall view. Since the motions of the forward and inward dives are similar, let's look at the inward dive tuck next. The key to good inward takeoffs for all dives is to maintain the balance over the balls of the feet until the preliminary takeoff position is obtained. After reaching this position, the diver extends the body and reaches with the arms parallel above the head and over the board. The eyes should focus on the back end of the board to keep the head level. A slight pike in the body will be necessary at the point of takeoff to move the diver to safe distance and to provide rotation. This pike is accomplished by driving the hips upward and outward while keeping the upper body steady. The rest of this dive is performed the same as in the forward dive tuck. Here's Wendy demonstrating the dive again. The backward and reverse dives tuck are a little more difficult and require outstanding control of the takeoff. In the back dive tuck, in all the back dives, the balance is controlled over the balls of the feet until the diver begins the upswing of the arms at the bottom of the press, when the weight is shifted backward to give the dive proper distance. After the diver moves through the preliminary takeoff position, the body extends to a straight line from the toes to the fingertips, with the arms straight and shoulder width apart. The body should be angled backward so the board can push the dive to good distance and assist in rotating the diver. The eyes should be focused straight ahead with the head level and slightly in front of the arms. When the feet leave the board, the upper body and head are kept still while the legs and arms bend and move to a tuck position while ascending to the top of the dive. Notice the head is still in the takeoff position. Just before starting to drop for the water, the legs are extended and the arms straighten and move to a lateral position at hip level. The body opens initially to a pike position. The head can be positioned either in a level position, as Kent shows here, or as I prefer, kept in a forward position with the eyes looking at the toes. When this position is established, the body extends at the hips to a straight line, and the arms begin to move laterally to the overhead entry position, and the eyes look back for the water. However, during the entry stretch, the head should be kept level, which means the visual focus is on the water a couple feet from the actual point where the hands touch. If the head is tilted backward in this phase and the eyes look directly at the entry point, too much arch will occur in the body. Watch this dive again in slow motion. The reverse dive tuck is performed the same in the air as the backward dive. However, the takeoff differs. The back dive achieves its proper distance and rotation by keeping the body in a straight line and having a lean backward. The reverse dive moves to good distance and develops rotation by moving the hips upward and forward, causing a body arch as the diver extends and reaches up. The arms reach straight and parallel and at an angle past vertical. The eyes remain focused straight ahead, while the head is positioned in front of the arms but level. For safety reasons, it is important that this takeoff position is achieved by moving the hips forward rather than the upper body back. Wendy shows an excellent head forward, or what I call the ET position, for control of rotation. The tuck actions are the same as the back dive, as well as the come-out motions. Wendy also illustrates the head forward, looking at the toes technique of opening. Take an overall look at the reverse dive tuck. All divers should have good tuck dives before moving on to the basic pike and straight dives. The forward dive pike starts the same as the forward dive tuck. The body is in a straight line and angled forward a few degrees, with the eyes looking at the far side of the pool and the head level, positioned between the arms. Just after takeoff, the body moves to a pike position by moving the arms in a direct line in front of the body to touch the toes at the top of the dive. The eyes shift their focus from out in front to the entry point. The body is then opened to a straight line by extending at the hips and moving the arms laterally to the entry position. The head should be kept in a neutral position during the entry. Since the forward dive straight requires more rotation than either pike or tuck, most divers leave the board with a little more lean and a slight pike at the hips. The head and arm positions are the same. When the feet leave the board, the body is straightened and the arms move laterally to the set position at shoulder level and in line with the body, creating a T position prior to reaching the top of the dive. The head should be kept level throughout the dive. This position is held until after the diver begins to descend, when the arms are closed in a lateral path to the overhead stretch for the entry. Let's observe Wendy and Kent as they execute the forward dive series. The inward dives in pike and straight are performed the same as the forward dives. However, the takeoff is different. As in the inward dive tuck, it is essential that the center of balance be kept over the balls of the feet throughout the pressing movements. After passing through the preliminary takeoff position, as the body extends, a piking motion occurs by driving the hips up and back while holding the upper body as still as possible, with the head level and the eyes focused on the back of the board. This action moves the dive away from the board and develops the needed rotation to complete the dive. In the pike dive, after leaving the board, the body continues the pike action, and the eyes shift their focus to the entry point as the toes are touched at the top of the dive. Then the body opens as the arms move laterally to the entry position.